Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on these two Premna, and this will be the last time that I allow these guys to elongate the way they are now. I'm going to cut them back, and then from now on I'll be pinching and pinching and pinching to create foliage pads and create a finished bonsai. And I apologize for the wind. I'm supposed to have a very windy day, so I'm early in the morning trying to escape the worst of the wind. So we're going to start with the littler one. And we have a really nice first main branch, we have a nice second main branch, then we have this growth here, but we also have this growth here. This is very heavy and it also comes forward, and this is thinner and it's in a better position. So I am going to cut off the heavier growth. Whenever I have a choice between heavy growth and thinner growth, I always like to choose the thinner growth, because over time that thicker growth can get out of proportion with the rest of the tree. So we have some stuff on the back branch that is shooting straight up. Then I'm going to shorten all of the branches. That one there was dead. There's a couple of little dead spots on here. And it would have really been great if this guy, I think this guy is dead too. Pretty much. So he was in a perfect position to be the leader, but it died away. So cut him to there, and I really need a little piece of wire, and I hadn't even thought about using wire, so I'm going to have to stop the video and go get some wire, because I definitely want to wire that guy up. So I'll be back with a little piece of wire. I moved the plant and the camera so we could get it a little closer. So I've got a piece of wire, and this is old wire because I save all my wire. And whenever you're wiring a tree, I always like to test the strength of the branch and then the strength of the wire. And the wire should just be a little bit stronger than the branch to hold it into place, but not make it too difficult. And I save my wire so that little piece will be sticking out until I take it off. So there we go. First main branch, second main branch, nice back branch. It's a little low, but not too bad. And then another back branch back here, and then we'll build the apex. And first main branch is a third of the way up the tree, so a third and a third and a third. So this tree will be up in here, and I love the movement. And now that the apex is wired into place, I think it's going to be a very nice little tree. And now I will just pinch as soon as I see growth. The rule is when a branch grows to 5 leaves, cut it back to 1 or 2. And the reason you cut it back to 1 or 2, because let's say on this branch here, let's take all these off. Oops, okay, so let's say right here. If I cut it back to here, then the new growth is going to shoot straight up, because it's going to follow the midline of the leaf, because that's the way the bud is pointing. If I cut to here, then the new growth is going to shoot this way, because it's going to follow the leaf here. So that's why they say 1 or 2 if you want your growth to go up, or if you want your growth to go sideways, depending on where the branch is and what kind of development you need. Cut here, the new growth, which typically emerges out of the very end of the branch, is going to follow the leaf this way. Cut here, and the growth is going to follow the leaf that way. On larger trees, when you're doing that, sometimes it's just no big deal, because it's just not really of any consequence, because the tree is so big. But on little guys like this, if you get it wrong, then you can get things grow in a way that you really don't want. So that's number one, and I think over time he will develop to be a very cute little tree. Now both of these trees were grown from cuttings. The one I just showed you, I'm going to clean up a little bit, was never in the ground. It was in a pot, in a training pot, and then put into that bonsai pot. This second one was grown in the ground. It was grown in the ground and it was allowed to get 6 feet high. And then this scar here was the chop. So I took off 5 feet 9 inches. I only left about 3 inches. There was another branch right here that I thought would make a great first main branch, but the way the roots were, it was in a horrible place. So that's that scar there. And there's another scar right here. But all that stuff's pretty much going to be in the back because I've chosen this as the front. This branch here, let me take this guy off because he's coming off anyway. This branch here just emerged, but I really like where it is. It's on the outside of the curve, so I'm going to promote that guy as the first main branch. And before I make decisions on branch placement, I'm just going to do the haircut first. So here's an interesting branch right here. It's growing out from here and then it just shoots straight across this way. So just give it a haircut. I'm going to cut that guy to about there. And now we need to start building a tree. So I have my first main branch, which is going to come down like this. Have my second main branch, and I actually have 2 second main branches that are competing, one here and one here. And this one is way in the back. There's also a nice back branch right here, so this one comes off. And I'm going to use my concave cutters for that. So first main branch, second main branch. Then we have a lot of foliage in the front that is kind of eye-poking. So I'm going to take that off. And then I'm just going to shorten this here so we can be a little tuft of foliage there, but I don't want a lot. Then we have a parallel branch right here, so I'm going to take this guy off here too. And this is actually part of the back branch. And it's also way too parallel with the first main branch, so I'm taking it off too. And I have this small, newer growth that's coming from the back here, but I'm going to do that anyway. I'm going to take off that big growth and let the thinner growth begin to develop the second main branch. And we have another little branch that's coming out of the inside of a curve, and take that off. Shorten this. Take this guy. I think I want this little tiny guy as the apex. So we've got another branch here, another branch here. And I'm going to take that off. And we've got some dead in here. I think that looks all dead. And so now we've got that big knob right there, which we really don't even need. So I'm going to take it off, trying to save this. And then, you know, I think I might even like this as the apex better, this guy here. So I'm going to take him off too, what was going to be the apex. You know, when I go silent, I'm deep in thought. And then we also have the second main branch has a dead stub right there. So it comes off. And look at the taper on this thing. Now we have a big knob here, and I have my spherical knob cutters. These guys are tricky to use though, because if you cut, they cut very deeply. But I'm going to do my best to cut that knob off. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I'll go a little bit deeper. There we go. Okay, so now we need to wire this guy down and wire this guy forward. And the rest we can clip and grow. See, I'm pinching this stuff because it's going to grow up and it will be competing with the leader. So I want this branch to come into here, but I don't want it coming up. Same as over here, I cut this branch back because I want the horizontalness. I may actually eventually remove all of this little stubbiness right here. So let's get another piece of wire. This piece looks good. I can do, and this is a really old piece of wire because it used to be covered in copper. So I can wire both branches with the same piece of wire. I want to make absolutely sure I don't snap it at the base. And if it comes up and then out, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight coming out of the branch like this one is. And I'm going to spin this a little way because I really like to have the branch pointing at me when I put my wire on. And the same with this guy. Put my thumbs where the most stress is going to be, so if you can actually feel the branch breaking and you stop before it does. Let's put this out as if it was part of the branch. Alright, so there we go. It's I cut this probably a little too deep, but when the vellum fills back in, it would be just about perfect. So I'm going to really shorten these, or keep them real short. And then once again, a third. Tree will be up in here. But I really have been happy with the development of this guy. So this is really the difference between putting something in the ground. It was in the ground about 2 years, and then chopping it way, way back. And as you can see now that we've got them both, let me get rid of some of the cuttings. Now that we've got them both, they're pretty similar, except first main branch is on this side versus this side. But this has much less taper because it was grown in a pot the whole time. Growing them in the ground and really chopping them back can really create much more taper. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and you can watch these guys continue to develop. Like I said, they'll never have that leggy growth again. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.